Hey there folks, Aldershot here, and today we're going to check out the Long Dark's latest update, version 321, aka Tireless Menace. This is a fairly major update, I gotta say, looking at the patch notes. There's no new maps or anything like that, but there's like a whole bunch of new features, new updates to its mechanics, some pretty major changes to its mechanics even, and all that kind of jazz. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of the notes here on the title screen, kind of talk about it, discuss it a little bit, and then we're going to check out the two new game modes that's kind of attached to the Sandbox game mode, kind of like a subdivision of the Sandbox game mode, I guess you can say, called Challenges. And there are two. We're going to just delete this game. I was just checking it out. There are actually two challenges available: Hopeless Rescue and The Hunted. The Hunted is where you get attacked by a bear, you'll have minimal supplies, then you have to make your way to the Trapper's Cabin on Mystery Lake with minimal supplies, with a bear stalking you. So, I kind of tried it a little bit and never had much luck with it, but we'll explore it together later on in the video, of course. We'll also explore Hopeless Rescue a little bit as well. This is kind of a longer game mode where you have to recover a distress pistol from the summit of Timberwolf Mountain and then fire it at the top of Desolation Point's lighthouse, right? And I believe this is based off of a community event that was actually masterminded by community members, not so much the developers, but it went over really well with the Long Dark community, and a lot of people did it and had a lot of fun with it. And I guess Hinterland Studios kind of took notice and implemented it into the game themselves, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's nice to know that they're taking community feedback and activities and actually implementing them into the game itself, which is pretty much how early access is supposed to be used, which is nice to see Hinterland Studios is actually doing that, right? So again, we're going to go over some of the patch notes here before we actually start our game. If you want to skip over the patch notes or whatever, I'll have a link in the description, or in the annotation I should say, where you can skip to whichever game mode that we decide to explore. But for the time being, let's get started. So, they got a new radio menu and streamlined status. I believe this is more for people who would like to use gamepads. I kind of tried it out myself a little bit. I use mostly keyboard and mouse, so it doesn't really affect me too much. But let's just go over what they said here. To support our goals of deep immersion and informed decision making, we have completely overhauled our user interface. The new radio menu replaces the previous action panel and puts all the player's major gameplay actions within 1 or 2 clicks of a button press. Excuse me, I'm still kind of recovering from my illness over the week. Anyways, the radio have also made it possible to add a subset of basic craftables made directly from the menu rather than requiring the use of workbench to make simple items like torches, bandages, tinder plugs, etc. The new streamlined status screen lets you quickly check on your condition, calories, and other important survival information without needing to refer to a separate screen that pulls you out of the game's world. Overall, we think this improves the player's experience by keeping the gameplay flow uninterrupted. So that's pretty cool. It's good that they're basically streamlining the amount of button pushes that players require in order to get from one status screen to another, which is of course good UI decision making in my opinion. Again, I think this is more for gamepads, you know. So using the keyboard and mouse is pretty standard, still the same kind of UI system that we grew familiar with, right? But still nice that they're making improvements for gamepad users, of course. Next we have new challenge modes, where They've added challenge modes to the Sandbox. These challenges add objective-based gameplays to the core Sandbox experience. To start with, we're launching Hunted Part 1, where you have to escape a murderous bear stalking you from Pleasant Valley to Mystery Lake, with only a distress pistol for protection. And Hopeless Rescue, where you have to get from Trapper's Cabin to the top of Timberwolf Mountain, and then over to fire a signal fire from the lighthouse in Desolation Point within 7 days. We're excited to see how you find these experiences. So we already kind of discussed the new challenge modes a little bit already. They're pretty cool. We'll definitely explore those in this video in a little bit, of course. They've also overhauled the rest system, which I think is actually probably one of the major updates to the game's overall game mechanics, and one that I highly agree with, in which I'll talk about why after I read the notes. We've turned rest into a true resource. You can now only rest when you are tired or have an affliction that requires it. We've added a pastime mechanic to the rest interface, which allows you to advance the clock without gaining the calorie reducing and healing benefits of rest. And finally, this is the one that I like the most, we've added a cabin fever affliction to keep things interesting for our hibernators. We feel that these changes will go a long way towards keeping the game more interesting for long-term players, add another layer of strategic decision making and resource management around where you have to rest, and increase the challenge for those who embrace long-term hibernation techniques. Now, I completely agree with this overhaul. I actually love it. I think it makes a lot of sense, and it also keeps the metagame of the Long Dark, at least if you're going for, you know, a lot of days survived, more interesting and a lot more strategic. So let's go over how people used to play when they're trying to reach a very high amount of days survived, right? They would collect a whole bunch of stuff, put it into a safe house, like, let's say, Pleasant Valley's, what do you call it? Pleasant Valley's homestead, right? And then just live off those supplies for weeks on end, right? And just sleep and eat and sleep and boil water and sleep and eat and sleep, etc., etc. You guys get it, right? Until you reach day 100, 200, 300. And it's very easy, if you know what you're doing, to do that. So that's something that I've always complained about, to be honest. In my previous Let's Play episodes, I mentioned I'm not really a big fan of this strategy, as it kind of breaks immersion. I don't think that's how the game was originally designed to be played, and ultimately, it's kind of boring, right? So it seems like Hinterland Studios have taken notice of this strategy and the problems that it comes with, and have addressed it with this latest update. So now you can still use that strategy, except it's now nerfed. You can now only pass time instead of rest to do the strategy, meaning you have to spend more calories if you want to stay inside. And also, if you stay inside too long, you'll get cabin fever. I don't actually know what cabin fever does to a person in the game quite yet. It doesn't actually go into detail about it, but it's definitely a negative effect of some sort, right? It probably has something to do with your stamina and your hunger, I don't know. Either way, it's a negative effect, and I agree with this. This will keep people more motivated to go out and explore. Excuse me. Really apologize for the coughs, guys. I'm still recovering. But anyways, this update will keep people motivated in going out to, you know, search for things, to do things in the great outdoors, to play the game as I believe it was originally designed to be played. Now, even though I mentioned that I don't really like this strategy, I have employed it myself because I just want to reach a higher day survived to keep up with all of you wonderful viewers who surpassed me in both skill and days survived. So I ended up employing it because, you know, at the end of the day, I want to be good at the game. I want something to brag about, to be, you know, and yeah, I just got to play the metagame at the end of the day, right? That's just how it works sometimes. And yeah, this is a great new update. This will definitely keep that strategy at bay. It's still employable, you can still use it, but again, it's highly nerfed now. And this is a nerf that I completely agree with. Now, I might have my own personal biases because of the way I like to play versus the way other people's like to play, but, you know, that's it. This is my video, this is how I feel, this is how I'm going to express it, alright? Anyways, the next update is the Decay system overhaul. Previously, items in the world would only start to decay once the player entered the region they existed in. This made tuning unnecessarily This made tuning unnecessarily complicated and led to some undesirable player behaviors. As of this update, all items in the world now begin to decay as soon as Sandbox is started. To balance this, all item decays rates have been rebalanced on a much longer time scale, 1,000 plus days, as compared to the previous tuning, which was on more of a 100 plus day time scale. We've also added some decay modifiers to account for interior/exterior storage and more realistic decay for fish and meat items, both raw and cooked. We feel that this overhaul keeps item decay at reasonable levels while supporting both nomadic explorers and sedimentary hunker down playstyles. So that's kind of cool. I didn't really read too much about this overhaul, but from the sounds of it, it seems like previously items would only decay once you find it. Now all items that spawn in any map as soon as you enter it will start decaying, and in order to balance it, they increase the decay time to be 10-folds, right? Which makes sense, you know. It's not really something that I've accounted for in my overall strategy of the game, but now that I know about it, I kind of feel like I missed out, hey? I could have previously just not looked for things until I needed that said thing, so that way I get it at the maximum quality potential, right? But now they've nerfed that. All items will start to decay as soon as the player enters the game, which makes sense in my mind. Alright, so the next one is first-person presence of wolf struggles. We've added a first-person hands and held weapons to wolf struggle to hopefully clarify for players that they are actually using the best tools in their inventory during the struggle, which has always been the case, but never been well visualized before. We hope that this will help players understand what is happening during the wolf struggle and also serves as proof of concept for further work we'd like to do to improve the sense of first-person presence in the game. Those are just some of the highlights from Tireless Menace. See the full change list below. So, the first-person presence of wolf struggle. Basically, they've added a new animation. That's cool, you know, better presentation of the game, better graphical fidelity. Can't argue with that. I don't really have much commentary on it except good job Hinterlands, right? And then down below is just a whole bunch of different changelog stuff. I'm not going to go over all of it. It's a whole lot of stuff. I'll have the full changelog and list listed for you in the description. Linked for you guys in the description for your convenience, of course. But these are the major updates. So this is major. This is a really, really big update. And I'm already kind of bringing this update list to you guys a little bit late. That was version 3.21. It's already updated to 3.25 a day after the release of this update. So Hinterlands are definitely working their boots off, you know, or their pants off, or whatever the saying goes. And it seems like they're doing a good job on both taking player feedback as well as how, you know, player community-driven events and actually implementing it into the game itself, which is absolutely fantastic. And once again, I'll repeat myself, this is how early access is supposed to be used. Hinterland Studios is an excellent example for all indie developers who wish to use early access. This is how early access is supposed to be used. Alright? Good job, Hinterlands. This is a great update from the sounds of it. I've explored a little tiny bit on my own time. It's certainly very, very interesting. But anyways, enough talk. Let's actually explore some of the challenge modes here, hey? let's go into challenges. I'm going to go into Hunted Part 1. I'm going to let you guys know, before we even start, I have no friggin' idea how to play this game mode. I played it 3-4 times off camera. I just died right away. We're going to jump into it just to show you how I'm going to die right away. I'm sure there's going to be a lot better players who's watching this video. If you do understand how to play this game mode better, by all means, let me know in the comments, what the hell am I doing wrong? Because I can't survive any more than 5 or 10 steps. So here we go. We start with the bear attacking us. Alright. We're going to have minimal supplies in order to survive. And, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Alright, here we go. A little bit bloodied up from the bear attack. So the bear's kind of leaving us alone now. I thought he's supposed to be stalking us, right? So that's one of the first things that I was a little confused about this game mode. But there's still wolves around as well, so you gotta keep mindful of them. And we're starting off with terrible health conditions. And now we got a wolf that's trying to attack us. Where is he? There he is, and we're dead. This is what I'm talking about. I have no idea what to do here, guys. Oh god, we'll try it one more time. We'll try it one more time. Maybe we can avoid the wolf. But yeah, this is a really difficult challenge mode because honestly, I just don't know what to do. I can't survive this game mode at all. Luckily, I do know this map, right? And I try to employ what knowledge I have of Pleasant Valley. Not Pleasant Valley, sorry, Mystery Lake. But it doesn't really serve me any good because I don't know. I either freeze to death, or a wolf kills me, or I starve to death. Something that is kind of interesting about this game mode, though, that is not mentioned in the patch notes. Well, it might be in the more detailed parts of the patch notes that we didn't get to read. But one of the more interesting parts is that there's some stat nerfs, I guess you can say. Like, as you can see, you go into the stats, there's no hunger, there's no thirst. Well, there is thirst, but okay, there is hunger and thirst. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. There's chilled, but either way, the stats is minimal though. There's a lot less to consider. Yeah, it's a little bit interesting, anyways. But anyways, I don't know. This game mode kind of confuses me, honestly. We'll pick up some of this stuff. Sure, why not? The bandages will probably help, maybe. Let's check. We don't need this right now.
Things are starting to look pretty grim.
We don't need to eat. We're exhausted. We need to sleep, but I don't think we got a bedroll. Yeah, we don't. Oh, we do have a bedroll, but we need shelter. So, yeah, I don't really know what to do here, guys. I just end up dying, right, and fading in and out of darkness, and I'm very confused. I'm very, very confused. I have no idea. Maybe a tutorial system would help with this challenge system. Maybe a hint system or something. Either way, you know, I played like 70, 80 plus hours of The Long Dark, and a fair portion of that is on Mystery Lake, yet I have absolutely no idea how to survive this game mode at all. Now, given I'm not the best player of The Long Dark ever, right? I never say I'm an exceptional player of The Long Dark, you know, it's not really my claim to fame. I'm just a very casual player, admittedly, but regardless of that, thinking with 60 or 70 or 80 hours of The Long Dark, I would have some clue into how to survive this game mode, but I just don't know what to do here. So if you guys know what to do and how to survive this game mode, please by all means let me know in the comments. Anyways, let's go back to the menu and explore the other game mode that is available. Oh god, this video is killing my throat right now. I'm still trying to recover. I know I mentioned that multiple times throughout this video, but yeah, it's kind of killing me. But anyways, we're gonna power through anyways, because I want to bring this neat little update to you guys. Let's check out Hopeless Rescue. This one's a little bit more interesting in my opinion. One that seems to make a little bit more sense to me anyways. All right. So, are you the last person alive? You have to know if you could get a signal out to someone. Recover the distress pistol from the summit of Timberwolf Mountain. Fire it from the top of Desolation Point Lighthouse. Alright. It's a lot easier said than done. Okay, so I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong about the stats in the previous game mode. It's all listed here. It's all the same stats and all that stuff. I'm just delirious with fever, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Anyways, let's grab some of this stuff here. Let's grab some of this stuff here. And grab all this stuff here. So the whole goal of this game mode is pretty simple. You have a limited amount of time, 7 days to be exact, 1 week, to basically get from one point of the game's overall map, this overarching map, not just, you know, one section of the entire Long Dark map, but the entire Long Dark map, to the other end of the entire Long Dark map, right? And it's a very challenging game mode. I've never been able to succeed in the few times that I have tried it off camera. It is relatively difficult. I know other people who's much better than I am who have succeeded, but it's a lot of fun though, and it's a great break from the game's normal sandbox mode. You know, like. Let's admit it, like a lot of long Dark players, they're a little bit bored of the game, or at least they were a little bit bored of the game. It is kind of surviving as long as possible, and then when you're dead, survive as long as possible in your next game, and etc, 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 right? But these game challenges, especially this one that we're playing right now, adds a little bit of spice. Something new to try. You know, now you're not just trying to survive as long as possible, you're trying to get from one point of the game to another point in the game as quickly as possible, which not only is, you know, something a little bit different for the players to try, but it involves different strategies. It involves different play styles that maybe some players might not have employed previously, especially for those who go for as long as, you know, trying to survive as long as possible, which usually employs hunkering down strategies. Whereas this game mode highly involves and prefers the nomadic gameplay style, which I much prefer personally. It is absolutely my most favorite style of gameplay in the Long Dark, and yeah, I'm glad to see a challenge mode that actually favors that gameplay style. Because previously, if you're trying to go you know, you're trying to play the game as it's originally designed, which is, you know, try to survive as long as possible. Hunkering down is absolutely the best strategy available. You know, that is the meta game, right? Whereas this challenge mode challenges that idea. So I really very much appreciate them adding this in, right? I believe this was actually a community-driven game mode. This was a little community event set off by one of the Hinterland Studios users from their forums who just thought of this idea, put it out there, and a whole bunch of people, including YouTubers and streamers, decided to pick up on it and actually gain some traction. I never done it because I'm a noob and I just want to play kind of casually, just for fun. I am kind of more of a casual Long Dark player. I'm no expert by any means. I just really enjoy the game. But I did enjoy watching some other people who have tried this challenge. I think previously they called it the Iron Man challenge or something like that. And yeah, it's a lot of fun seeing how people basically are forced to play nomadically. Especially watching players who I normally watch who play the more hunkering down style of gameplay. So that was really interesting to see how they switched up their strategy and how they employed said strategy. Cool. It's cool. I really like this idea. I think this is by far the best part of this update, in my opinion, anyways. But anyways, let's keep moving forward. We're probably not gonna make our way through the entire challenge in this one video because it's kind of going on long right now already. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and make our way to the Hydro Dam and the exit to Hydro Dam, and we'll kind of call it quits at that point, right? That's going to be the first exit out of this challenge, anyways. Let's check on our stats. I do like this new stat system, the stat window. It does allow us to kind of... This is really cool. I can kind of move and check on my stats at the same time, which makes more sense to me. We're starting to freeze our butt off, so let's find some shelter. We are actually really close to the lakeside cabin, so I'm not too worried about freezing to death. We can go below our actual threshold, and I think we'll still be pretty safe because of how close we actually are to shelter. Unfortunately, we are walking against the wind, which does slow down our movement speed. But c'est la vie, I guess that's just the way it is. Alright, so let's check on what we got here. I don't think I've actually did a good check on our inventory. I guess it's not that important. This isn't a real playthrough. I'm just kind of goofing around, showing you guys the game modes and all that kind of jazz, right? Alright, we're moving a little bit faster, seeing how we recover some of our stamina. No wolves, which is good, of course. It's definitely starting to freeze, though, which is not the greatest. Anyways, let's just hurry up into the cabin here. Just like that. Alright, let's grab all the loot in here. And then take stock of what we have and what we need, etc., etc. Let's grab some of this stuff here and that. Why not? And, oh wow. A lot of freebie woods here. Alright, I'll take all of it. Take some of... Oh, that's all good stuff. Oh yeah, new items too, guys. Woo! We just picked one up. So this is a emergency steroid injection. Will provide a short burst of energy when you'll collapse from exhaustion. Use this as a last resort. So, because they've nerfed rest and how you do rest in this game now, they've added a new item to take the place of what rest would used to do in a basically near-death experience, right? So before, you would just kind of rest up and hope for the best. If you're bad in health or whatever, now you have this emergency stim shots, which will replace that function. And that's great because it's a new resource for us to micromanage. And of course, we all love micromanaging resources. This is the Long Dark after all. But it also adds a degree of realism as well. Because if you're facing a life and death experience, just laying down with a blanket over you probably isn't going to save you, right? So I do like the added immersion and the added micromanaging of new items and resources. That's all good in my books. Anyways, let's check out the rest system, right? So we're getting kind of tired. So let's see if we can rest. Let's rest for, say, 5 hours. Okay, so we do have enough tiredness, seeing how that's a resource now, to rest. So that's good. So let's see. We're pretty well rested now. Let's see if we can rest now. Pretty sure we can't. Let's turn on the lights so we can see what the hell we're doing. Here we go. So let's say we want to rest for 4 hours. Oh, we can't do it. We are not tired. So that's cool. I like that. Again, I definitely agree with nerfing the way the old rest system works. I think that will encourage more, I guess, actual gameplay rather than, you know, just burning days inside. I'm kind of curious to know what cabin fever is going to do to you, but yeah, you know what, seeing how this, we're not actually going to cure if we succeed. I in this challenge. Let's try and burn some days off in here with what we have. I want to see what cabin fever does to people. So let's pass time. Turn off our lantern first as not to waste fuel. Let's pass a few hours at a time. Again, because this isn't an actual game where we don't really care. So, oh god, cancel. I forgot to fulfill our needs for food and water, which is probably important. Let's check our stats real quick here. Really hungry, really thirsty. Okay. So we're going to burn off some days and see if we can get cabin fever to actually happen. And see what that's all about. Hopefully we have enough resources to do that. If we starve, oh well. Like I say, I don't really care about this game. We're just here to check out the game modes and some of the new mechanics anyways, right? I might start a let's play of this new challenge mode just to see what it's all about. But for the time being, we're just here to test out the updates. Let's see. We can probably use another soda here. Alright, so let's burn off some days or some time. If I can find a damn bed. I don't want to actually turn on the lantern. There it is. Let's rest for... Can we rest? Oh, we do have enough tiredness to rest. It's such a weird thing now, though, hey? How tiredness is actually kind of a resource. Okay. Let's pass some time. Let's check our stats. Stats are good. Let's pass some time. Alright. So we can see our stats going down a lot. This is also new to this update as well. Very interesting. Let's cancel that because we need to refill on our thirst and hunger. Good stuff. Jeez, sodas do nothing for thirst anymore. Did they nerf it? I feel like they've nerfed it. Anyways. 2 hours of darkness left. Let's just sleep for those 2 hours. Do we have enough tiredness to sleep off those 2 hours? I don't think we do. Oh, we do. We can rest for 1 hour. Okay, interesting. So it looks like we can still rest if it's like just a couple of hours, even if our rest gauge is fairly high from the looks of things. And if we're fully rested, we can't rest anymore, I believe. Let's see. Let's double check on that. So dark. I really need the daylight to come out. Oh, I just went past time instead of rest. Okay. Yeah. So you need to have the rest gauge below the threshold in order to rest or something like that. Interesting. Anyways, let's turn on our lantern and gather some resources or something. Oh, we don't have a hatchet. Maybe this is not the best time to actually check on the whole cabin fever mechanic because I don't think I have the resources. We're going to try anyways. Screw it. We're going to try anyways. Just making sure I got everything. I think I did. Let's see here. Let's grab... Do we need anything to eat? Let's boil some water. That's what we'll do. Boiling some water. Here we go. You know what? Screw it. Screw it. This is futile. Let's just head off. Yeah, let's just head off. Screw it. Let's get to the hydro dam. We'll check out the cabin fever thing in our Let's Play series, in which we'll continue sometime this week, of course, very soon. But let's just head to the hydro dam. Why not? We have 6 days and 8 hours left, so we should be okay. Alright, so we just have to follow this train track here. Hopefully we can avoid some wolves, which I'm sure we'll find some up where those crashed cabooses are, or whatever, the crash train thing up ahead. There's usually wolves stalking around that area. Now, something interesting about these new challenge modes is that there's no difficulty sliders. It's all set one difficulty, right? So I'm not really sure if it's like stalker or if it's like normal difficulty or whatever it is. Either way, there's no difficulty sliders. There's only one difficulty for all the challenges. That's probably made for the sake of balance. I don't know if they'll implement a difficulty slider in the future. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, I guess. Huh, no wolves. Who would have thunk it? We got lucky today. Definitely want to check it out. There's no wolves. This is a pretty good spot for loot. Very, very fortunate to not have wolves here. Check the corpse here, of course. And the backpack. Alright, good stuff, good stuff. Oh, a rifle. I think we already have a rifle, but we'll take it anyways. And another corpse. Which is not a bad thing. Well, it is for the corpse. Take the soda. We need that, actually. In fact, we'll drink it now. Alright, good stuff. Pick up the flares. Awesome. Really cool. And we'll definitely check out this container. Oh yeah, something else about this update that's new is footprints. Now, they've always had footprints, okay? But they've changed it now. So, they changed how it looks. It looks a little, you know, there's a little bit more detail to them. But also, they'll slowly fill in if there's like a snowstorm or something like that, or over time with the weather, with the wind and all that kind of stuff, for an added sense of immersion, and also kind of a interesting way to, it serves kind of like a breadcrumb trail. And now that they fill in a little bit more immersively, you have to kind of manage it a little bit more immersively as well. So that's kind of cool, kind of neat. I like it. We ran out of lantern fuel. Less cool. Let's put away these matches here.
Cold is making my head feel thick.
I think we have another lantern, actually. I think we picked up an extra one. Or maybe not. I'm pretty sure we can refill it, though. Yep, we can. Alright, good stuff. Good stuff. We got a wolf up ahead, but luckily we got some flares. So we'll definitely use them. Oh, they changed it. You don't throw the flare anymore. Oh, wow, that's cool. So that's another new thing. Now you kind of throw it around or whip it around instead of actually throwing it. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Definitely makes a lot more sense to me. Get out of here. Get, oh god, he's still... Oh well, I guess we can check out some of the new struggling animation. So that was kind of interesting. I guess some wolves aren't as afraid of the flare as others. So it looks like they've updated the AI a little bit. Because previously all wolves would be afraid of the flare. But that one obviously was not. Right? So that's cool. I like that. You know, all wolves, just like human beings, have different personalities and different traits. And I think that should be accounted for. I think it makes sense, right? Anyways, we're getting close to the, whatchamacallit, the hydro dam. And we're starting to freeze, so the sooner the better. Alright, good stuff, good stuff. So far, I'm liking the update. It feels a lot more immersive. You know, that's what it seems like what they were going for throughout this update. They just wanted to make the game as immersive and as realistic as possible. and they've added a few changes to help with that. And I think they're so far so good. You know, I like this. This is really cool. You know, the new struggling animation was kind of neat. You know, I really love the new rest system. I cannot express how much I like the new rest system. I love that they nerfed the old hunkering down, stay in the cabin forever, and survive for hundreds of days strategy. You know, I really didn't like that strategy at all. I felt it to be unrealistic, and I'm just going to say it. I felt it to be kind of cheap. You know, it was a cheap strategy. You know, it's not something that I've enjoyed doing, but because that was the meta game, because that was the end game of the Long Dark, it was a strategy that I have employed, even though I disagreed with it, right? So I'm glad to see that they've taken account to all that stuff and nerfed it, essentially. So now all you hunker-downers, you gotta go out and find resources like the rest of us. Haha, ho ho! Sorry, I'm just being a jerk now. But anyways, we made it to the Hydro Dam. We're gonna warm up a little bit. The exit out of whatchamacallit, whatever this map is called. I forgot. Mystery Lake is just over on that side, which is the first exit in this challenge. And I think that'll take you to Pleasant Valley, I believe. And then that'll take you to Desolation Point, and Timberwolf Mountain, etc., etc., right? But anyways, folks, I'm going to end the video here. Checked out some of the new cool features from this update. We went over some of the change logs. Let me know what you think of this update as well. Please let me know what you think of the new rest system. I am so curious to know how you guys feel about it, because I know many of you guys are better Long Dark players than I am. I have absolutely no doubt about that. But I also know a lot of you guys employ the hunkering down strategy. I want to know, especially those people who do regularly employ the hunker down strategy, I want to know what you think of the rest system. I'm really curious to know if you guys love it, hate it, do you guys feel it's balanced, imbalanced, what changes you might make or what changes you might want to keep, etc., etc., right? I'm so curious to know what you guys think. But anyways, folks, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. We'll continue our Long Dark Let's Play series sometime this week, of course. And I am out of here because my voice is absolutely destroyed now. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. All those shout outs.